Channel. My name is Rachel.
I'm Christian.
And we love to travel, and on this channel we want to show you how you can do it too. With summer just around the corner, there is no better time to talk about our favorite cruise line, Virgin Voyages. In this video, we're going to show you what we love about this cruise line, some things we're not such huge fans of, and what we are most excited for our next Virgin cruise, which we will reveal at the end.
We've sailed on 3 Virgin cruises so far, 2 with just us, 1 for her girl trip that she did. Our first one, we started off with the French days in Ibiza nights. That was our honeymoon trip. And you can look at this video here where Rachel goes over how we decided on that for our honeymoon trip and how we did 40 days on a honeymoon trip. Crazy, right? Our second cruise that we did was Greek Island Glow, where we sailed around the popular Greek islands in Greece. That one was an amazing one with an overnight stay in Mykonos. And the third trip, which was my wife's, which was the Dominican days that she did.
So that one was on the Valiant Lady, just like our honeymoon was. And then the second trip was on Resilient Lady. So far we have been on 2 of the 3 ships that Virgin Voyages has. So let's dive into the pros and some of the things we love about sailing with Virgin Voyages. First, it is an adult-only experience. So typically when you go on some of these major ocean liner cruise lines, such as Royal Caribbean, Carnival, NCL, things like that, they are not adults only. It's mega ships with a lot of families, but on Virgin Voyages, you get that exclusive 18 and up atmosphere. As you can imagine, the things kind of work differently on the ship. The vibes are a lot more relaxed. You of course don't have all of the kids at the pool. A lot of the entertainment and things to do on board are also tailored to adults because that's the only clientele they have to tailor to. And that is something that we've really found to love about Virgin Voyages, which we didn't really think that it was that important to us to be on an adults only ship. But after going on it a couple of times, we realized how much we do enjoy getting that experience when in your everyday life, you can't just remove kids, they're around. So it's nice to be able to know that when we get on that ship, it is just us and other adults.
Yeah, and we've met a lot of people on the cruise who have kids and they love that it's just an all adults cruise. They can get away from their kids, or there's a lot of empty nesters, or there's a lot of retirees, but they just love the fact that this is more upscale, adults only. The next thing that we love about Virgin Voyages is the food. The food is amazing on this cruise. And along with that, there's 7 restaurants on this cruise, ranging from Mexican food to Italian to just all types of fusion food. And then there's the galley, which we love the galley as well. I think it's a different type of way as other cruise lines. There's not a buffet. It's kind of like a go up there and get your food, or they do service. You sit at a table and they ring and you can get the food delivered to you.
So the third pro is the happenings cast. And as someone like me who has done a good handful of cruises over my lifetime, this is definitely something that I've seen very different from how other cruise lines do it. So typically you have a cruise director that's in charge of facilitating a lot of the large scale entertainment on board. But for Virgin Voyages, they took that one role and broke it up into a team of people that essentially work to do the same function that they call the happenings cast. And then the happenings cast is also further divided into 2 different groups. That one you typically see more of out and about, and then the other one kind of runs some of the smaller groups. But in our experience, the happenings cast is a better way to be way more personable with your guests and to really get to know people. There have been multiple members on each of the different cruise ships and sailings that we've been on where we've just gotten really close with the happenings cast because of A, how wonderful people there are, but B, it's not one person's job to take over running the whole ship, so they're not just so run down and so busy that they can't spend a few minutes talking with you before an event, after event. And because each member of this cast has a category dedicated to their role, you know that they can spend their time really making sure the fitness events or the food events or the artistic events are exactly what they want them to be and curated to what the guests need.
Yeah, I love the fact that there's the happenings cast there. It just makes it's another personal feel to Virgin Voyages. We've become really good friends with some of the cast members on there. And then also when we're out and about on the ports, you see them out and you can get to hang with them and talk to them. So it's been really good to have. It just makes it a lot more fun when you get to have that type of personal feel with somebody that works on the ship. And they can give you tips, they can give you tricks, they can give you advice on what to do while you're on board as well. Don't be afraid to talk to the happenings cast when you go on your trip. Next thing we love about Virgin Voyages, and you can say this about a lot of other cruise lines, but I have to point out just the staff on Virgin Voyages. Along with what I said about the tips and tricks and advice, you can get that just from the staff too, anywhere, from the restaurants, from the galley, from the pool. The staff is there to help with you. I can point out some things. When we're at the pool, the people coming up to order us drinks, just right there, all on time, and knowing our name, just adding that personal touch is great. And then our room attendant. I talk about when we were at the Greek Island cruise, where I'm a fiend for ice water.
It's bad. No, it's actually really bad. Sometimes if they bring him a cup of water with no ice, I get worried. He's not going to make it.
So I love ice water. I told my attendant, like, hey, be on the lookout. I might, order a lot of ice. So one of the things that Virgin Voyages does is they put water in your rooms. You can have the choice from still water or sparkling water. We opt for just both to be still water.
And they're like crafts that they put. So they're not bottles, but they are crafts that they refill as they come and go.
So with that, I told her how much I would like to have ice in the room. She just put the ice in the water itself. Every time she refilled it, every time we came back to our room, there was just ice water in our room, and that was just amazing.
Not only the room attendants, but just the entire staff on board. And one thing about Virgin specifically is because it's such a small cruise line, especially right now, they have 3 ships and they're coming out with a 4th. A lot of the staff will rotate between ships. So from our first cruise to our second, where we were on 2 different ships, I saw multiple waitresses and bartenders that I recognized from our first sailing. Even my favorite security guard.
Yeah.
My favorite security guard made it onto the second ship. He was actually on the 3rd one too. I was so excited. I cannot remember his name, but he's the best part of Virgin Voyages. And like he said, they're very attentive. They will remember your name. They also rotate around the ship. So one of our waitresses at the pool that would always come and get our drinks and ask Mr. Christian and Miss Rachel if they needed anything, later that night was working at the pizza parlor. And when we came in, she would make our pizza, then remembered our drinks and asked if we wanted more of them. We're like, no, we're okay. But who remembers stuff like that? Sailing to sailing to sailing. I thought it was incredible. The next pro that I want to talk about is more about how Virgin structures their sailings and their itineraries. They like to put in overnights and extended stays in some of the ports that they stop at on their trips. So for our first cruise, we had 2 overnights, one in Palma de Mallorca and the second one in Ibiza. And for our second cruise, there was an overnight in Mykonos. And not only did we still get to the port pretty early, around like 2 or 3 p.m., but then we stayed until the next day around 5 p.m. So we got to actually go out into the city, go out for dinner, stay out and enjoy the nightlife, come back, and then if we wanted to, go out again for lunch, maybe do some exploring, and then make it back to the ship. And so for a lot of cruises, you typically only get that 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. like daytime experience. But for Virgin, they like to make sure you experience the entire atmosphere of a town, even if that includes the overnight.
Yeah, those overnights are perfect, especially for Ibiza and then for Mykonos. And then we got to go out and enjoy the nightlife and come back later at night and not have to worry about the ship not being there. And then on our next cruise, we're not going to have any overnights, but we'll have longer time periods where we don't have to be back to the ship around to like 9 p.m. or so. So hopefully this will be a different type of feel, and we'll get to see how we like that one.
Some people even fully take advantage of the overnights, and they will actually get hotel rooms or Airbnbs and spend the night off of the ship.
I don't know if my anxiety could deal with something like to check into an Airbnb or hotel, and then the coordination of doing something like that. So the next pro that we love about Virgin Voyages, and I hope that other cruises can do it as well, is the wristbands. And with the wristbands, we mean they give you a wristband where you're able to use it as your wallet and as your way to get into the room and as identification for when you get on and off the ship. And I think that is an amazing thing. I haven't been on many cruises, so I just know I think other cruise lines you have to use a key card or something like that. So I just think having it on your wrist, not having to worry about taking a wallet or anything with you besides around the ship or besides your phone, it's just great. And having it on your wristband is just phenomenal.
And they also are able to use it as tracking. So if for some reason you're on an excursion or you're with a group on an excursion that's from the cruise and you haven't made it back, they can kind of see where you are, so they won't just abandon their people. One example is we went to Santorini, where you have to take a cable car up and down to get from the cruise to the town. And the line from the cable car is just incredibly long to get down. So the line was probably about an hour and a half backed up, but our back on board time was in like 30 minutes. But the cruise can see that a lot of its passengers are up there, and so they weren't just going to leave everybody. So they actually pushed back departure an hour so everyone had time to get back. So those wristbands are definitely a perk then, because they couldn't do the same thing with just a key card. And on top of the wristbands being really good technology, the Next Pro is also technologically related, and it is about the Virgin Voyages app. So I've only compared this to one other app for a cruise I've been on recently, which was actually I can compare it to the Royal Caribbean app and the Carnival app, because those two, while they exist, they just seem like suggestions. They don't work like you need them to, but the Virgin Voyages app is where you do everything. You can book your shore things, which are the excursions, book your dining reservations, the whole schedule is on there. And it actually works like you would want it to. So it's not like an app that they have, but then you log in and it doesn't work. It is what you would expect of a large-scale ocean liner cruise line. So the app is really nice also for staying organized. If you meet people on the ship, you can scan their QR code and then you can add them to different reservations. So on the cruise that I went on in Miami, we would make friends, and since we were the more organized ones, we would plan, oh, let's go to this show, let's have dinner here. And then we could just add everyone to the reservation so that it would pop up in their schedule and they didn't have to try and call us or figure out what was going on and when. It would pop up in their app and it would be reserved as a little time slot. So it definitely helps with organization, especially if you're going as a group bigger than like a couple.
So the next thing we love about Virgin Voyages is that the embarkation. And with Virgin Voyages, there is a later time for embarkation. And along with that being one of the reasons they do that is when you get on board, your room is ready.
It's ready, it's done.
Your room's ready when you get on. So you don't have to, I know other cruises you might have to wait still until your time. They tell you when your room is ready, but on Virgin Voyages, your room is ready. Some people with that, they bring their luggage already on board with them, don't check it. We're not the same people. I think I'm just fine with them checking. They did lose my bag one time, but they were able to find it, so it was all great. Love the fact that your embarkation day is great. One tip though, I'm gonna put a quick tip in there. Try to get an earlier embarkation time because the sailing is around 6:30 almost, I believe. So you want to get an early embarkation time so that you could get a chance to hang out, have a good time, hit the pool, get food, hit the pool early. You know, we did in our Greek one, we got on, I got 4, and it wasn't really much time to really do as much because then the activity started where we had to go to that. So try to do that. So next we're gonna get into what we're not fans of on the Virgin Voyages. And the next one that I will talk about, I'm more 50-50 pro and con of it. So Virgin Voyages does not have a drink package on there. What they do is you have your wallet on your wristband like we discussed, and you just pay for your drinks as you go. So, but they also have this thing, a bar tab. But with the bar tab, you can pre-purchase just an account to make for your drinks. So for example, our first one, we did a $300 bar tab with Virgin Voyages. With doing that, they gave us an extra $50 bar tab. With our next one that we're doing, we did a program, and we'll have $600 on our bar tab. So I know that most people, they'll be fine with not having a bar tab. That means you can control what you drink and control your spending on board. Some people might want that bar tab, so you just get unlimited drinks. You get to have a good time and not have to worry about it.
I personally for me, this is a pro. I really like that Virgin does not have a drink package. I think that when people sometimes get a drink package, they act some kind of way that is not conducive to the nice, relaxing vibe that sometimes Virgin tries to have, even though it is also a boat that can get down. But compared to other cruise lines that I will not name because there's no need for that, just not having the bar tab really lets people, every time you go, you're scanning your wristband for that drink, you know, you really got to think about it. Also, our tab at the end of our honeymoon, where we got every drink that we wanted. We really didn't hold back anything, and our tab included excursions and the different events we did. I can tell you right now that that tab with everything was cheaper than if we had added a bar tab. And with a bar tab, you have to include everybody in your cabin. So if you're in a cabin with someone that doesn't drink, you both have to get a bar tab. And you can pay like $30, $40, $50 per person per night of the sailing. And I think for some of them to make it worth it, you have to drink like 7 drinks a day, every day. And then you can't use it when you get off the ship. Clearly I have a lot of thoughts about bar tabs. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna go off about bar tabs.
You mean drink packages, each person has to have one.
Drink packages, I'm sorry about the bar tab. You know what, I'm gonna have to, if I said a bar tab every single time, I did mean drink packages. Love the bar tab, don't like all-inclusive drink packages, like relax, what do you need them for? But anyway, whether or not it's your pro or your con, you can decide. I can just let you know that the odds of you spending as much as a drink package would cost is slim. Anyway, to get off of my soapbox, the next con with Virgin Voyages, and it depends on how you like to vacation, but there are only 2 pools on board. So they have a smaller pool, which I think they call like the gym pool or the fit pool or the whatever. It's over by the gyms. It's a small circular pool with a like cross formation in the middle where there's different areas to sit. It's not very big at all, and there's a bar on one side. The other side, which is the main pool, has another bar. The outsides of the pool have day beds lining it, and then a tanning ledge on the sides, and then it's deeper in the middle. And those are your only 2 options for room temperature swimming. There are a lot of hot tubs on board, I think like 2 by each of the pools, and then there's some more scattered around the decks.
Yeah.
But as far as swimming, they do not have a lot of options. And one thing that my mom pointed out is they have almost no options for sitting in or near the water with shade. So none of the chairs by the water have any kind of umbrellas. If you want to sit in the shade, you basically have to sit like all the way against the windows under the covering. So you don't get to have that like sitting at a beach under an umbrella in a beach chair kind of vibe. It's either you're away from the water or you're in it and you're cooking.
Yeah. So yeah, not just having 2 pools is just not ideal, I think, for just if you want that type of vacation where you're just sitting by the pool the whole time, because it does get pretty packed, especially on those sea days that everybody's going to be out there. So be aware of that. And then the days where you're at port, yeah, you'll have time, but yeah, just remember it's only 2 pools. So I just think there should be more options for that. Don't get me wrong, still love it, but I just wish there was more pool options.
Definitely.
Hey, real quick.
If you made it this far in the video, we know you're a fan. We know you like hearing us talk about travel. So just like the video, maybe hit subscribe. Really do us a favor. Thanks. Now back to Virgin.
So the next thing we'll get into is a lot of people say, and you know, I see it as well, is that the pricing for Virgin Voyages is pretty high. Now, we can say that's pretty high, but my wife went on to the Icon of the Seas, and that one was pretty high as well. So these cruises are getting a little high, but the thing with Virgin Voyages is there's no really hidden costs in there. You're getting everything in there. You're getting your tips included, your drinks, sodas included. You got water in your room. You're dining in. You get to dine at all these places, all the restaurants for free.
You can dine at all 7 of them for free. Where I just went on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and every single restaurant that isn't the buffet and the main dining is an extra charge. And we ate at a different one every night. That's 7 nights of an additional like $30 to $45, whereas on Virgin it's included. Also, a big one that I think is really overlooked is free Wi-Fi. Virgin gives you Wi-Fi. No per device, per day, having to pay exorbitant amounts, where if you're working remotely, you can still get on the ship and get your work done and not have to be out another $500 because you wanted the luxury of working while you were sailing across the ocean.
Yeah. So, and along with that, there, as you can see along with that, there's other options of trying to make sure you get the most bang for your buck. Working with my wife, who is a travel agent, she could try to find you the best rates and get you some deals along with Virgin Cruises. Along with working with my wife, look at one of her past videos where she talks about our honeymoon, and we booked that cruise with points. So there's ways to make that cost just not as crazy as you think it is.
Okay, so the next con is the lack of large-scale entertainment on board. And I think this is something that would really affect frequent cruisers, people that have cruised. Maybe it was a while ago, but haven't recently. From my experience, cruises used to be you would go to group dining and then there would be a big show at the theater for each night. So you would have dinner and see the show, or you would see the show and have dinner. For Virgin, they really just don't operate like that. Their entertainment is a lot different. They have multiple small shows throughout the day, throughout the night, and then their main entertainment at the end is, I think, starting at 10 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock. They start doing a dance party in their club, which they call the Manor. So there's different shows you can go to, and then around 9 o'clock, they will have a themed party in the Manor. It could be disco, it could be retro, and for some of those parties, the Happenings cast will also pop in and do periodic performances. But that's more of an interactive type entertainment. If you're someone that's wanting to sit down and watch this grand show every single night, you may not get that experience. And if you don't want to go and stand at a club at 10 p.m., I understand that too. But they do have other shows. They have shows that have different parts. They have the Persephone show and different game shows, a magician, a drag queen. They have a lot of show options, just not the, it's not Broadway, it's not Disney, but it is Virgin, and that's what matters.
Yeah, there's tons of different shows. It just depends if that's your type of vibe or not. If you like those big shows like that, then Virgin may not be for you. If you don't care about shows, kind of like I am, Virgin is great. I do, but I still go to the shows, and I do enjoy the shows that they have. Another thing we just don't quite like about Virgin Voyages, and we think they could improve on, is their fitness center.
Yeah, so their fitness center is kind of divided. Like I said, one of those pools is called the gym pool, the fit pool. And on each side of that are sort of semicircle rooms. One side has weights, and then the other side is the cardio. So it is divided. On the cardio side, they have bikes, treadmills, rower, and then a small area to stretch. On the weight side, they have, I think, maybe a Smith machine, dumbbells, TRX bands, and then an open area to do floor work. And that's also where their studio is, where you can do the bungee class and other classes like that. And while it is a decent gym and you can definitely get a good workout and you don't have to worry about sort of missing any part of your workout, if you look at videos of other cruise ships and other cruise lines, the gym is definitely a little small. You do not get that expansive gym experience like you would on Royal. To me, a Royal cruise ship gym looks like Lifetime as far as I'm concerned. Whereas this might be closer to like 24-hour. It's nice, but it's just not the same. There's no Equinox. So you can still get a good workout, although on the at-sea days, those treadmills will fill up. I sat and waited for 15 minutes just for one treadmill, which, it's not a big deal. I still got my run in, but that was something that I wish to see more of from the gym. And it didn't get in my way, but I really like that big gym feeling.
Yeah, those gyms that they have now work good for when the cruise isn't packed. Like our first one, yeah, it wasn't a packed cruise, so the gym wasn't as crazy. So that gym size was good. But the second one we did for Greece, it was a packed ship, and yeah, it was always crowded in that gym. And so I think, when Virgin tries to promote a healthy lifestyle for adults, you would think they have more of a bigger type of weight room. I think the cardio room is, well, I guess from what my wife just said, it's not as big. I just think both need to have a little bit more equipment or a little bit bigger space.
So the next thing that we're not really fans of, and I guess I should really say I'm not really a fan of, is no group dining. So on other ships, I really enjoyed the aspect of being sat with other cruisers and getting to meet new people. I know a lot of people do not like that part of the cruise. I know he was like that, does not want to sit with strangers at the end of your day. But I did enjoy sitting with other people and chatting about how the cruise was going. So there is no group dining on Virgin. You can make friends and eat in the galley. There's one restaurant, the Korean barbecue restaurant called Gumbae, where they do seat you. I believe it's tables of 8. So that one has a group dining atmosphere, but you can also just choose not to go to that restaurant, which is totally fine. But as far as the big group dining and where on the third night they'll do like a little show, they just don't have that. They have the different restaurants, which are delicious, and the food is phenomenal. But as far as how it's set up, each restaurant, it'll be like you'll be sitting at your own table. So for every restaurant we go to, we're sitting just the 2 of us, which is also really nice because that means each day is kind of like its own little date. So that's fun too.
So yeah, definitely, I have to say this, at least go to Gumbae. You're gonna love it. And that is a group dining. And that just depends on who you guys sit with. I mean, we haven't had any issues so far with that one. I enjoy the non-group dining atmosphere. I mean, you're still sitting so close together that you kind of end up talking to some people, but sometimes you don't. So those are great. It's great as well. So another thing we're not fans of, going back to the gym area or just in general, that there's too much. And I got this from Life with Us TV. I just saw their video. Is there's too much fitness space out there. There's just a lot of underutilized space on the Virgin Voyages. There's like a boxing ring on board. There's just other type of like workout equipment just outside that it's just underutilized. You never see anybody really using it except for like the first 2 days. And then after that, no one uses it. And then also there's the cabanas that don't see anybody. I've never seen anybody use the cabanas. I just think I think it's a weird thing that I've never seen anybody use it, and that they still have it on the ship. Now, I will point out, I've seen from other YouTubers' videos that they are planning on the Scarlet Lady, that they plan on moving the cabanas more towards the pool area, which I think that might be something that might some people will do. I don't think we'll do it, but it'll be nice to see that that type of transformation, moving the cabanas there, that might be utilized there. Because sometimes I don't even see the seats up top get used at some Virgin cruises. So I think sometimes they have a lot of things outside that just shouldn't really be there.
Yeah, and for clarification, the fitness areas that we're talking about are outside of the 2 gyms. So these are fitness areas that are scattered around the decks, kind of on the deck above the pool. There's like an outdoor boxing ring and outdoor gym equipment that no one's really working out there. They have like a jungle gym behind the fitness pool where you can do like pull-ups and little gymnastics equipment. And yeah, everyone that's working out is working out in the gym. No one's really working out in these other spaces. So they could put literally anything else. I don't know, a ping pong table. They could put anything in there, but yeah, no one's going out here. There's no gloves you can rent, so I don't know how they're boxing.
I was just thinking, I said boxing ring on there just seems wild to me now. So
unless they're bare fist punching people in the face. There's no way that they're boxing. I feel like in this quick little break, I should say that although there are a lot of things that we think Virgin could improve on, overall, we still really like the brand. I don't want it to sound like we just got con after con after con. These are things that we think that they could improve on, and things that people that have never sailed before or never sailed Virgin should consider or be aware of. That way they know what they're getting into. But if you go into it with the right frame of mind, you're still gonna have a lovely time. Okay, so the next one is the music choices. The cruises that we have been on, especially the European ones, a little bit of the Miami one, but that one was a bit different, have a very specific music taste. I think it's because we were in Europe, but it was very house and EDM heavy. And I know Europeans are very into house and EDM, so that could be it. But we are not very into house and EDM. So it was a lot of waiting like 45 minutes for the EDM set to end, and we get like 15 minutes of hip hop, and then back to 45 minutes of EDM, and that was in their nightclub at the Manor. Depending on who the DJ is, also can really drive this. I know there was one DJ that a lot of the people on crew in Miami really liked. Then they replaced him and they're like, yeah, it got bad again. But then he went to another ship and then that ship really enjoyed the music. So you might not have all of the music that is in your taste range when you're on these ships.
Yeah, Virgin, you spend so much money on DJs, you would think you would try to have a DJ that just caters to everybody. And also, sometimes the playlists are kind of the same. You kind of can just predict what song's coming next. And so I just think the music could just be a little bit better, especially in certain time periods. Like there's one when we're at the pool or the ones where we're in the club.
And the final thing that Virgin could improve on that I am glad to say they actually have started working on is that all of the ships are the same. So their first 2 ships, the Resilient and the Valiant and the Scarlet, the first 3 ships were pretty much carbon copies of each other, which meant you knew exactly what you were getting if you went from one ship to the next. You were getting the same restaurants, almost the same entertainment. You would have a different happenings cast, and different, dance members of these shows, so that could be different, but the shows themselves were sometimes the exact same. But recently they renovated their ship, the Scarlet Lady, so that is where they're going to have, I believe they renovated one of the restaurants, so it is going to, the Razzle Dazzle restaurant, they made it a little bit more upscale, and they moved the cabanas, and there's gonna be a coffee bar, and the steakhouse will have a wine bar, and like really cool things like that I think will enhance the experience. But as far as the other ships, and I'm not sure how the Brilliance falls into this, they are very similar. The floor plans are the same, very predictable, so if you're trying to sail all of the ships, you won't necessarily be getting a different experience with each one of them.
All right, let's move on from the things we like and what we don't like from Virgin Voyages. So let's tell you what we cannot wait to do when we get on to our next cruise, and which is my favorite. It goes to the music thing. I love this bar called the Loose Cannon Bar. And the reason I love this bar is because they have a music machine in there where you can play all different types of music there. And it's kind of like a hidden gem because every time I go in there, most of the time there's no one in there. So I have control in the DJ of the music that's played in there, and I love it. I love that bar. If she's looking for me around the cruise ship,
he's in the Loose Cannon.
I'm at the Loose Cannon place. Did we mention there was no kids as well, which makes the music there even better, which makes the time there even better. Another thing towards music, man, I think we just really love music, is they have karaoke rooms, and I can't wait to sing my lungs out in a karaoke room.
He means it.
We have videos of me singing in the karaoke room. We also have videos of me, I sang during Scarlet Night, which is wild to even think about. I did that. So, love the karaoke rooms. If you go, do not miss out on a karaoke room. And another thing we love, and I cannot wait to do, Scarlet Night. Scarlet Night on Virgin Voyages is amazing.
Absolutely. One of a kind experience, really.
Get your red outfit and get out there, dance. I think everybody's out there, everybody's grooving, everybody's just opening up and just having a great time. And you get to hang out with the cast members, and just the whole ship just comes alive. Mm-hmm. And Scarlet Night is the best. Just be prepared, hydrate yourself. Do not go too hard during the day. Wait for the nighttime.
Scarlet Night is Virgin Voyages' take on the formal or the all-white night from other cruise lines. So instead of wearing all white, you will put on your best red outfit. There will be spots to take photos around the ship, but they're more of areas where you can take the photos with your phone. Not necessarily, there's really not a ton of photographers just taking formal portraits, but you wear red, they tell you about the lore of Scarlet Night, then you head up to the pool deck and there is a big pool party, and it ends in the manor with the Scarlet Night party in the nightclub.
I cannot wait for that. I can't wait for Scarlet Night, but I can't really wait for Loose Cannon Night. And another favorite thing I cannot wait, I don't know why we don't have it here at the house, is the infamous hammock. Cannot wait to get into that hammock. It can fit me. I can get a hammock. So it is just amazing. There's been multiple times the morning I wake up and I catch her just in the hammock just reading. So I know she cannot wait to get into that hammock.
It is one of the best things on Virgin. We really should buy one. They do sell them. You can buy the hammock from the company. We might consider that in the future. We should put it outside. Definitely. All right, thank you so much for making it to this point in the video. Now I want to give you 8 semi-rapid fire tips for your next or your first Virgin Voyage cruise. First is to really utilize the opportunity that you're able to bring 2 bottles of wine or champagne into your room. For me, last time, I brought my 2 bottles, and that actually lasted me the entire cruise. I didn't spend any money for a single drink on board. Those 2 bottles lasted all 7 nights. So that definitely helped save a lot since you don't have that all you can drink package. Number 2 is when you get on board, if you haven't made reservations for the restaurants, visit guest services ASAP. They can help put you into different reservations, even some that you can't see on the app, so you can still get to experience each of the dining restaurants. The second thing, which kind of goes along with the first, is to get on the Wi-Fi. When you look at the schedule on the app from your phone before you get on the ship, it'll look pretty empty, or it'll look like it says sold out. That's because you have to be on the ship and on the Wi-Fi in order to book and see the different experiences. So once you get on the ship, sit down, step to the side, log into the Wi-Fi, and look and see which experiences you want to do. And one experience that we recommend, especially if you want to meet people, is the Grog Walk. So they have 2 locations. They'll start either at Loose Cannon or at the like brewery type bar, and you're there with a group, and you'll go to different bars on the boat and do little get to know you interactive type games, and you'll get a drink from each one, and then it ends at the pajama party. So if you're looking for a way to break the ice on day one, definitely consider the Grog Walk. The 5th one is to take your iconic Virgin Voyages signed photo immediately. You're gonna forget. You're not gonna remember later. Don't act like you're gonna remember later. The second you get on that boat, just go up to the top, to the track where it is, and take the photo. Daytime, nighttime, preferably daytime.
I don't know. The nighttime, I see some of people's nighttime picture. It looks great. We gotta do nighttime next time.
And that's a good second photo, but I know when you board, it's gonna be daytime. Go take that photo. You're gonna be upset when you get off that ship and you haven't done it. And there will be no one up there on the track, especially because who's gonna get on a boat and then try and run a 5K? No one. So go take that photo immediately. The 6th tip is to maybe think twice about the Splash of Romance package. So it is about $200, and you will get treats delivered to your room, access to the spa, priority boarding, juice each day, and 1 shake for champagne, which is where if you open up the app and then shake your phone, they'll bring you a bottle of champagne to wherever you are on the ship. And we just didn't feel like the perks that you get was really worth the cost of the package. The champagne is maybe valued at like $50, so that was probably the highest value thing, but the treats weren't good. We got 1 chocolate strawberry one time, and then like a gummy and like a spicy chocolate, and we just didn't eat them. We left them in the room, and eventually they threw them away. And the priority boarding is nice, but there's just other ways to get it. So if you're considering it, you can also get a day pass to the spa without that. So if those are the perks you want, I would just get those separately. It's not really worth the Splash of Romance, even if you get like a special wristband. The 7th tip is to walk around the galley. They won't tell you this. I don't know why they won't tell you this, but the galley is kind of broken up like a mall food court. So you have different vendors that serve different things. You've got traditional like American food, Asian food, a sandwich place, things like that. I'm sure there's a ramen place, a salad place, dessert place. There may be more, but that's like the gist. So they have their standard menu where you sit down at a table, scan the QR code, the menu says what the menu says. You can order from the server and they'll bring it to you. But if you walk around, they have daily specials every day. I found out one day I walked up there and it said prime rib. And I would have missed it if I hadn't walked around. So walk around the galley and look at what the specials are. Then if you want, you can order, wait there, get your food and sit down. Or you can still go back, sit down and order from the server. One night they had ribs. I saw the ribs. I sat down. I asked server for some ribs. They brought me ribs. And yeah, they're not going to tell you this, but walk around the galley.
Yeah, don't make that mistake. Definitely walk around.
And the final tip is to make your reservations early. If you want excursions, if you want specific dining restaurants, days, and times, you want to make them the second that they open up. So I'm gonna put here how far in advance they open up. That way you can remember to go on to your app and book them. Make sure if you wanna coordinate with other people that you set a date and time and really figure out what you want to do and when.
All right, so thank you again for staying this long in the video. I know it's been a long video, but we love Virgin Voyages so much, and we have just so much to say about it. And with that, we are already excited for our next cruise. And our next cruise will be going out from Barcelona to Rome with stops in between from Florence to Cannes, which we love Cannes, and to Golf in Rome. More information will be in the description below.
And the best part is that you can still join us. If you want to sail with us, my information will be below, and I can definitely get you booked on this cruise. We would love to sail with you. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have made it till the end, thank you. You're a real one, and we appreciate it. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you do not miss any of our travel adventures, travel tips, and travel hacks. Also ring the bell icon so you'll be notified every time we upload a video. And please comment below if you've been on Virgin Voyages and what you liked about it, or if you're considering doing a Virgin Voyage cruise.
Book that Virgin cruise.
Thanks so much for watching. Bye. We're so close. I can do it. I can do it. Wait.
All right.
I see. This is why I don't memorize my script. Ah! Ready? Thanks for watching.